South Africa is under global pressure, and the choices being made right now could cost jobs, trade, and stability. This is not a drill. Welcome to Political Pulse. Keep your pulse on the nation. Today, we unpack rising US pressure, naval drills that spark backlash, a call to reject a major trade deal, and political cracks at home. Hit like now so more South Africans see this. The EFF is calling on South Africa to reject any extension of AGOA, a trade deal that allows South African goods into the US with lower tariffs. They argue the US uses trade to control countries, but AGWA supports thousands of local jobs in farming, manufacturing, and exports. Walking away may sound bold, but lost trade means lost jobs. This is not about liking the US. It's about whether South Africa can afford to lose access to one of the world's biggest markets. The US has criticized South Africa for allowing Iran to take part in naval drills in local waters. Government says South Africa is neutral. But neutrality is not just words, it's actions. Training with sanctioned countries sends signals that worry trade partners. When partners worry, investment slows. When investment slows, jobs disappear. President Cyril Ramaphosa has dismissed fears of a US invasion, saying South Africa remains sovereign and independent. That reassurance was needed. But South Africans still want clarity. Where does the country stand? And what is the long-term plan? A former senior minister has resigned from the Democratic Alliance, pointing to internal divisions. When big political parties show cracks, it affects confidence. And confidence is critical for investment, growth, and stability. Trade pressure, foreign policy confusion, political instability, these issues are connected, and they affect ordinary South Africans every day.
You say not racist.
Definitely not.
If you look back and you consider how the party has moved ever since it's joined the GNU and is now working with the ANC, which the DA has been very vocal about the ANC, cadre deployment, corrupt leaders and so forth. Would you say that the DA should have never gotten into the GNU, looking at what's happened?
That is a very hard question, because obviously the benefit of hindsight is 2020. I was a reluctant, actually, entrant into the GNU because I was very concerned about exactly that the DA, quite small, would be swallowed up by the ANC and disappear, because that happens to coalitions across the world. But here we have a very peculiar situation in South Africa. We're in transition, etc. So our route at the time was to go into the government. And I do also think that certainly me and some of my colleagues have very valiantly wanted to move the dial, you know, move the ANC, etc. But we haven't been able to do that, specifically on black economic empowerment, foreign policy. We haven't been able to do that. But that's the big question. I mean, so if we weren't in the GNU, well, what would it then look like? But I think the caveat has to be, if we're in the GNU, we must be very clear and vocal about this is what we want. We came for this, we want this. If we can't have it, then we're going to have to leave.
And that changed,
and it has to be credible.
And that changed fundamentally when the DA decided to join the GNU. It was almost as though, would you say, the DA lost its voice? I
say so, yes, because what happened is that the DA felt that it needed to sort of be softer in a way, like, you know, because we've got to keep the coalition together. Because remember, when I was fired, there was this, well, why was it done? And then one of the narratives was that, you know, collegiality and teamwork and whatever. That's code speak for, well, he was abrasing with the ANC too much, because I was not going to just bow. And I think that that's the problem. I think with strong leadership, I think that the DNU, the DA could have held itself in the GNU. I think it's battling with that now, because if you look, for example, at my amazingly hard-working colleagues in the DA caucus in Parliament, is that they are restrained from saying various things because of the mindfulness of the fact that, well, we don't want to necessarily antagonize or etc. So that's the complication. It's not simple.
So I ask this in the context of the DA went to court regarding cadre deployment. You are now accusing John Steenhuisen
Yes.
of cadre deployment.
Yes.
The DA was also very vocal. I mean, he even went as far as saying the president should be removed after he was found with cash in his couch. But the DA has since gone quiet. And would you say that that is because they are in government, they are in power, they have blue lights, and they don't want to tamper with that?
I think it's to do with the context that we find ourselves in now. It is a different world, a different environment. When you're in opposition, I mean, I even know that you can say things and, you know, say government must do X, Y, and Z, but try and get it done. It's not so easy. So it's a different frame that we're in at the moment. But I do think that it certainly has been my experience. Certainly when I abrazed with my colleagues, some of the other ministers from the ANC, I got no support at all, none, from my leader, none. I was on my own. And the reason for that was because I was making the ANC unhappy. And I think that that made the situation very difficult.
If this helped you understand what's really happening, hit like, share your view below, and subscribe to Political Pulse. Keep your pulse on the nation.